Bass players, are you ready? All right, once again, we've created 6 more for you guys who are wanting to play a little bit more gospel. And don't worry if you're new to gospel music, just like I've done in all the other packs. And by the way, if you're not hip to these gospel jam packs that I'm creating for the bass community, you need to know about them now. I've been making these gospel packs for guys that want to learn more about gospel music, who want to improve their playing, who want to learn more about the genre. Maybe you're not going to ever step foot inside of a church, but you want to know about that gospel sound. You want to know a little bit and have a better understanding about how we do what we do. So this time I've created more tracks for you guys to work out to. I brought in professional musicians to help me create this sound. So these tracks come alive when you're playing them. You feel like you're right there on the stage playing with a full band. So you're gonna get the real feel of what cats would do in this type setting. And don't worry, it's not super complicated. There are basically 2 sections to the song. There's an A section and there's a B section. It's about a minute or a minute and 30 seconds long, and you're gonna loop that and just have fun and rock out. And don't worry, these tracks are completely royalty free, so you can use them on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, wherever your place of choice to post your videos. Or if you're a person who just wants to learn in secret, that's cool. I got something for you too. So you don't have to worry about trying to figure out all of this stuff on your own when you listen to these tracks. They're banging, but you don't have to figure out all of this stuff by yourself. I am including the sheet music and tab for you guys who read, or for you guys who read tab and you want to know what I'm doing. So there's an MP3 that includes my bass take, so you get a real idea of what to play around this track, and you're not just out there fishing for ideas. Although it's wide open for you to do whatever you want to do on it. Not only that, as I've done with all of the bass jam packs, I'm going as far as to show you exactly. We're going to break it down. I've created instructionals for all 6 songs. So we're going to go through, I'm going to break down what it is I'm playing, the licks, all of it, the whole 9, you get it all, and I'm going to show it to you. I'm going to break it down. We're not going to take forever with it either. We're going to get to the good part so you can get to practicing and get to having fun on this stuff. So I invite you to check out the Straight Gospel Bass Jam Pack Volume 2. You're going to love it. Let's go. Good morning, everybody. I see Bernard is in the comments this morning. Good morning to you, Bernard, from Kenya. I welcome everybody out to Grooves and Motivation Live. This is me, Jermaine Morgan, and I'm happy to be here this morning. I look a little sleepy in my eyes, but I've been up for a minute. But I appreciate you guys for tuning in with me. Be sure to drop in the comments where you're watching from this morning. I'd love to see that. Good morning, BE. What's that? Roisy, City, Texas. Starting morning at 79 degrees and muggy. Gonna be another hot one, yeah. Sounds like it. Floppy, good morning to you, man. Hello, Jermaine. Hope you are well. I've been offered a new job. Praise God. Oh, man. Sadly, through it, I might mean I may no longer be able to catch the. I got you, man. You might not be able to catch the grooves and motivation, but listen, that's the good thing about YouTube. You can always watch the replay. I know it's different to watch it live. And I appreciate everybody that jumps on here live. But listen, take care of you, take care of your family, and trust me, no worries, man. But I'm glad to hear that you have some promotion happening, right? So occult, that always gives me. But good morning to you. Good morning to you. Good morning, Tiffany. And anybody else that's joining in this morning. Plano, Texas, here. Me and BE Wool are neighbors, basically. Yeah, I got you. I got you. Plano, Texas. I've heard of Plano, Texas. Who is it? There's a pastor I know from Plano, Texas. He would come down. Is it Gerald? I can't think of his last name, but I remember him. That's the name that sticks out to me from Plano, Texas. I remember him very, very vague in terms of his name, but I got his face in my mind very vivid. All right. So, but anyway, thank you guys for joining me this morning. We're going to have a little fun. Y'all know what we do. We're going to jump into a little groove here, and then we're going to jump into our little discussion for the morning. How is everybody feeling? Is everybody good for the most part? I mean, you can see out of both eyes, or if you can't, you can hear me well, all that kind of stuff. I just want to make sure that you guys are good. You feel okay, you know. And if you're not feeling okay, hopefully you will be by the end of this live today. So, all right, let's jump into this groove. Let's jump into this groove, and you guys can continue as you come on, dropping where you're watching from in the comments. All right. All right, so let's see who else we have on here. Floppy says the weather is very dull and wet here in Southampton. Jermaine is love to us. So all good. I got you. He said I don't know where the love came from. So you had a little typo happening there. I got you. Jay Red, good morning, man. Skarabi says, yo, Jermaine, sorry for those times I'm getting ready for my wedding. Listen, dude, you're totally good. No apologies necessary here. And congratulations to you. All right, so this groove is an A flat. If you're grooving with me with your bass, I'm in the key of A flat or G sharp, however you want to think of it. My bass is tuned half a step down. And this is not an E string. I'm sorry, this is not a B string. This is an E string, right? So Tim Victor says, hello, Jermaine. God bless you. I would like to know the very basic figuring for those licks for both hands. So Tim, let me say this. So on the Grooves and Motivation, it's not necessarily a bass lesson, so to speak. So any of you guys are looking for a bass lesson, that's generally not what I do here on Grooves and Motivation Live. It's more of a Grooves and Motivation, but you can definitely find some of those resources here on this channel. If you search through my channel after this video, you can kind of find plenty of videos on licks. I've done a ton of them, and if it's not enough here on YouTube, I have a website, JermaineMorgan.net, where I break down a whole bunch of other stuff. There's a course that I do breaking down a whole bunch of licks, but I don't necessarily do any teaching per se. Every now and again, you'll catch me where I share some stuff, but for the most part, Grooves and Motivation, I don't do any teaching here on this morning segment. So sorry to disappoint. Just wanted to make sure I make that clear. Morning, Melvin. Appreciate that, Floppy. What's up, Mike? What's up, Kevin? No problem, Tim. So Brandon says, let me put the bass back in here so I can stop. So Brandon says, sounds great. Play diminished ideas, please. We'll see. We'll see how it works in the groove. Mike Randolph, good morning to you, man. Jersey is in the building. All right, so Floyd says, where is the new axe? It's on the way, man. It's being shipped. So unfortunately, I don't have it. I don't have it just yet. It's being shipped. I wish I had it. Trust and believe. I wish it was already in my hands, but I only have my pictures right now. So I'm waiting on it to get here. Hopefully, if everything goes correct, I'll have it this week. But yeah, it's currently being shipped to me. Literally just fresh off the press. So if you follow me on social media, you can get a fresh look at my new bass, my new custom 6-string Serene bass. So yeah, so if you're not following me on social media, I think I just did something by accident. If you're not following me on social media, it's at Jermaine Morgan, J Morgan Bass, I'm sorry, on Instagram, Twitter, and even on Facebook. You can just look up Jermaine Morgan. I'll put it here where you guys can see it. So you can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, all that stuff at J Morgan Bass, and you can go right now. Well, if you on your phone, don't do it because you're going to click off of this, but you can go check it out. You can check out the bass and all of the specs and everything if you want to get a first look at it before I actually play it on this channel. Sounds good. Gospel offering. Yes, sir. Gospel offering time. I see you, Mr. John. Yeah, so Floppy. Yeah, there's pictures on my Instagram. Yeah, so be sure to go and check that out. All right. That was the MXR envelope filter, John. Appreciate you, Melvin. Morning, Andre. He comes straight in. He said the Oregon Blaze in the background. Hopefully that's a good thing. I'll pull it back just a bit. All right, so Brendan, so what key you in? I like the changes. It's all right. I'm in a key of A flat. My bass is tuned a little different. To the 5. That was 2 to the 5. I'm on the wrong part of the song. Let me turn it up so I can hear it. 2, 5, 3, 6, 2, 5. Back to the 1. All right, at the top. To the 2, to the 5, 3, to the 6, 2, 5, 1. Real simple progression. Similar for the second part. 2, 5, 3, 2, same thing. Okay, Andre, I got you. All right. So the question is, where's your new bass? My new bass hadn't got here yet. It's still on the way. All right. Awesome, Jermaine. Just started out with the OC5 pedal from Boss. Love that. Sweet. Yeah, man. Pedals are definitely sweet to, explore. And like you said, they're good to explore and come up with some great ideas, man. They kind of push you to think outside of the norm. For me, they definitely do that. So, I encourage you to try some pedals if you haven't already. I have a lot of fun with using the pedals. Put something else over the screw. I hear you, Tiffany. No problem, Brandon. All right. Enough of that groove. It feel good. Enough of that. Again, greetings to everybody that's here with me this morning. I really appreciate all of you guys and the ones that chime in from the questions asked to just sharing your thoughts and your comments and that kind of thing. I don't want to take up too much of your time. Let me mute my phone. I don't want to take up too much of your time, but I did want to share a thought with you guys today, something that I've been thinking about. Really something I'm always thinking about, truth be told, but I wanted to bring it to your attention today. So I wanted to talk about having a winning strategy. This could be a new bass track. Oh, it's already it already has a home, if you will. I won't give out what it is, but this track is already I'm pretty much, I don't have everything unmuted on this track, but there's a lot of stuff happening here, and there is a purpose for this track. I'll share it with you later. It won't be today. But anywho, um, again, thank you guys. And for my supporters who are on this channel, let me make mention of this really, really quick before I get into the talk. But for my supporters, and you know who you are, man, thank you guys so much. I can't say that enough. And I know oftentimes we as creators and that kind of thing, it's uh it can be just the regular thing, just okay, yeah, that's cool, you're here, and and we just go on with business as usual. But I don't want to fail to say thank you to the supporters who support this channel, to supporters who support JermaineMorgan.net or anything else that I do. I say it periodically, but I can't say it enough. I really, really, really appreciate you guys. And if you're new to this channel, if you're newly subscribed, I noticed that we're like right at 40,000. We might break 40,000 within the next few days. I don't know. But whoever you are, thank you so much for subscribing. I can't see you guys. You see me, you hear me. And for some reason, you keep subscribing to this channel and you keep supporting what it is I do. I can't say thank you again. Thank you, thank you, thank you 1,000 times over. If you want some help, some extra help on bass, I've created tons of content right here on YouTube, bass lessons and that kind of thing. I don't necessarily set aside Grooves and Motivation to do lessons, but there is help that I've provided here free on this channel, on my YouTube channel. So there's a lot of free resources here as well as paid resources that are on my website, the monthly members. I'm still doing lessons over there. I know you guys who follow me religiously on YouTube is like, I hadn't seen a new lesson in a while. Oh, don't dismay. I haven't stopped teaching. I'm still teaching. But majority of the teaching material is on JermaineMorgan.net for my members. It's like a members only situation where you're getting the fresh lessons that I'm still putting out from week to week. On the monthly membership lessons, over 200 and something lessons that are currently available there. I have courses I've been creating. If you watch the beginning of this video, the gospel packs and different music bass backing tracks that I've been creating since the ending of last year. I think I've created like 4 already. And well, I created more than that. Y'all only know about 4. There's more to come. But I've been creating resources and tools for you bass players, not just something to jam to, but to break down how it is I'm playing over these tracks, kind of like what I just played. You got like 2 sections, and I literally break down how to navigate through these tracks. So in turn, you're kind of getting the experience of being there without having to be there. Some of the stuff, of course, we can't substitute, like being in a live setting, but there are some things we can learn that will help prepare us when we get into those live settings, especially you guys who are trying to play in church or who are looking to get a church gig, that kind of thing. I've created tools to really, really help you to excel, not just survive, but excel in those gigs. So be sure you take advantage of those resources. But for everybody else, if you're just here for Grooves and Motivation, you're like, I'm sweet on your bass courses, I don't need none of that. If you want to support this channel, I never do this, but I decided to do it. I put a link in the description where you can donate to this channel if you want to support this channel in some type of way. So be sure to do that if that's something that's on your heart to do. I don't want to stop you from being a blessing. Listen. But anyway, let's jump right into it. Floppy, thank you for hanging out with me, man. I know you got to get to work, and everybody else who has to run and you got another place to be. Thank you for rocking with me this long. I really, really appreciate it. So I wanted to, again, talk about having a winning strategy. And strategy is simply a plan of action. Some type of a plan of different actions that you have put together to accomplish a certain goal. Andrew, yes, sir. But yeah, a plan of action is just, a strategy is simply a plan of action that you have put together to accomplish a certain set of goals. That's not the Webster's dictionary. I'm just paraphrasing what it is. So I notice as musicians, and I can use me for an example, especially creative people, we have the tendency to be all over the place. It's like the more creative you are, by default, it's like the less organized we have the tendency to be. And I don't know why that is. Maybe somebody can help me in the comments, but I know for a fact that was the issue concerning me. and you have all these ideas and all these different things that you want to get done, and you never really execute on anything because there's so many things in your head. I want to do this. I want to do this. I want to do this, and I want to. It's like you have all this stuff, and what seems to come later as a result of not executing on these things is frustration. You tend to become frustrated because you have all of these goals, all of these dreams, all of these ideas, and you're not executing on them, and so now you become frustrated. Or maybe the other way around for you, you might be working in a situation or on a job that requires your time, your energy, your effort to put it there. And so you're not able to necessarily execute on the things that you have for yourself because you're so busy, as we all are, doing something that you don't get a chance to really hone in and focus on the things that you want to do. So that's where, to me, having a winning strategy really comes into play. That way we can start making measurable progress. You know what I'm saying? So we could see where we're actually accomplishing a lot of these goals that we're trying to set out to do. And so one of the ways that I do that, and I've talked about this, if you've been here before, I've talked about this, is this doggone phone here, the notes, I use these notes. I don't know how well you can see that, but it's cool. I wasn't trying to show it. But the notes in the iPhone, that's my go-to. I literally write down. I have literally from a financial vision to I have a dream reality list. Some people call it a vision board. I have that where I have everything listed out that I'm trying to get done, that I'm trying to accomplish so that I can keep up with what it is I'm trying to do and I can keep myself on task. I had this thing that I was doing called a productivity checklist that I was doing each day. I don't do it as much anymore, and that's just on me. I need to get back to it, but I guess I've gotten in such a routine of what's happening, and I need to get back to it, getting on to myself, because there's some things I miss from time to time, even though I'm getting a lot done. But with that productivity checklist, it helps me to have a winning strategy for my day. I'm not just looking to win the next week or to win the next year, the next month. I'm looking to win each day in terms of what it is I'm trying to accomplish, what it is I'm trying to get done. And by having that productivity checklist, I list out based on what I'm trying to accomplish this year. So if you were to start like dissecting, I know most of us aren't this organized, and I definitely wasn't. My wife really helped me in this area. But if you have some goals that you're trying to accomplish, let's say, let's not go a full year because that might be a little much for a lot of people. But let's go over the next month. What are you trying to accomplish for the next month? All right. And so now you reverse engineer that month to see what each day looks like in order to start accomplishing these goals. So over the next month, I want to work on, speed. I want to work on, like, as a bass player, I want to work on, just ghost notes, or I want to work on my dexterity, all these different things that you want to work on. All right. So what does each day look like? So now you start being strategic, because I have a lot of people to ask me, all right, I need a good practice regimen. I'm like, I can give you a regiment, but I don't know if it's going to be a good regiment for what you're trying to accomplish. And the more we can become crystal clear on what it is we're trying to accomplish, the better we can set up a regiment that works for us. That way you construct your own practice regimen based on what it is you're trying to gain, the knowledge you're trying to get. Now, if you are taking lessons and that kind of thing, and your instructor, your teacher, your coach, like me, is giving you different things from week to week that you need to work on, well, definitely by all means work on those things. But you can also take the reins yourself, take some accountability for yourself and say, you know what? When I was playing this song last week, I noticed my timing was a little weird. So I need to spend a little bit more time working on my timing. So now you put that on the list. Let's spend 15, 20 minutes today just honing in on timing. What does that look like? That can be anything from practicing with the metronome to practicing with the drum machine to practicing with a record and just making sure I'm lining up and I'm matching. And I'm really, really burying that click, so to speak. I talked to my son. My son is 7 years old and he's really working on the drums, and I was showing him some stuff. I try to stay out of their way because I can go Joe Jackson real quick. So I try to just kind of stay out of the way and let them learn organically. My kids when they're trying to play stuff, but every now and again I'll throw my little 2 cents in there. And with my son, I had him working on some rudiments on drums. I'm not the greatest drummer in the world, but I know a little bit. So I had him working on some stuff, and I put the metronome on for him, and I noticed he started moving a little bit. I said, "Son, you want to bury that click." And what I mean by that, you almost want to play so much on the click that it doesn't even sound like you're playing to a click anymore. What I mean by that, that means you're like right on the money. You're dead on top of the click to where you and the click are one. Every time you hit, the click is hidden. So it's all there. And so you can take that same approach when it comes to your playing, being very, very strategic about how you go about working on that timing. And then once you kind of get to the point where I'm really, really locked in with this click, all right, so what else can we do? Let's work on different approaches. I was listening um, to this interview by Marcus Miller. I think Sweetwater did this interview with Marcus Miller, and he was talking about the different ways that different drummers play, and some of them play behind the beat, or the conversation was about groove. And so he was talking about some of the drummers play behind the beat, some of the drummers play right on the beat, some of them have a different type of swing, different types of swing, and all this type of stuff. And learning the way as a session musician how to lock into each one of these different variations of the way that each drummer plays. Now, that's something you can do when you're listening to records. If you don't have the calls right now to be able to go to the studio and work with all these different musicians, you can use the internet to your advantage. You can use your playlist to your advantage. Put on some songs that you like to play through and really pay attention to how the groove is moving, and really try to hone in and lock in with how everything is moving. If it's a little bit more laid back, all right, let me try to work on that approach. Not maybe I don't need to be right on top of the click. Maybe I need to be just a little millisecond or something behind it. You know what I'm saying? So just it sounds weird, but once you really put it in context, you see how everything works together for different cultures, different genres of music. Everybody doesn't do music the same way. So being able to strategically listen through all of those different things and start making, all right, I see, I need to spend some time here. Whatever your genre is, I need to spend some time here. Maybe you got thrown into something that you don't play. It's not your thing. Set aside some time to say, you know what? I done got through into this gospel thing. I need to start like really sitting with these songs and learning these songs. Or maybe it's a situation where, and this is to shift gears really quick. This is where you're taking a little bit more initiative, because a lot of my learning when I really start making progress was when I start taking initiative outside of what I was being given from week to week. So just say you are playing with the church or something like that. So I would go and start learning stuff that I didn't necessarily have to learn to work on skills that I know I was failing at. So maybe they pull out some songs I don't know, or some hymns or something like that, or some congregational songs, that kind of thing. And so I'll go and look and find stuff in that vein so I'll have a better idea. So the next time this stuff randomly pops up, it wasn't on the song list, I'm prepared. Maybe I don't know the song fully, but I have a good enough idea of how these songs work so I can get through the song and it's not a train wreck. So based on our failures, we tend to learn a little bit more based off those failures. I know I've given a lot of examples, but I'm really trying to give you guys some strategic things you can do to start really moving yourself forward, really getting ahead with what it is you're trying to do as players. And of course, this stuff always doubles. It doesn't have to be isolated to just playing music. It can be in any area. Just being super strategic about what it is you're trying to do and what's my strategy for getting there. Because what's the saying? A man who fails to plan plans to fail. So you have to be really strategic about what it is you're trying to do. And of course, as you're going, sometimes these plans may have to change. You might have to adjust these plans from time to time, but at least have something that you're trying to do, something that you're going for. From week to week, if I'm doing lessons with you from week to week or from month to month, or whatever the case may be, I'm using myself for an example. It shouldn't be Well, I was just working on this, or I was just kind of, just I was just gonna see, like, no, it should be something intentional that you're doing to do a certain thing, to move that needle forward in terms of your plan. I love when I get on with my different students and they tell me different things that they've been working on that I didn't ask them to work on. It's like, yeah, I've been working on this song. I've been kind of working through this, and I've been trying to work on my timing. I've been trying to work on my left hand or whatever the case may be. But it's showing initiative. It's showing that, you know what, I'm invested in this thing, but not just monetarily. I'm fully invested into this thing, so much so that I'm not waiting on the next lesson to find out what I should do next. I'm going ahead and I'm taking initiative for myself. And I'm going to take what you say on the lesson, but I'm taking this initiative for myself, and I want to push myself. I want to grow, right? Angel, good morning to you, man. I don't know if I spoke to you already. Steve says, I see that Fender is still on stage. Yeah, the Fender is still here. But we're taking that initiative. We're taking that initiative and pushing ourselves forward, being very, very strategic. So I don't want to keep going on to this too long. I just want to share some ideas and hopefully to push you guys forward in trying to win. Because, when you have a strategy and you kind of stick to that strategy, you can guarantee more results than you can when you don't have anything and you're just doing it off the cuff. And there's nothing wrong with just kind of going for it and not really having a plan, but you don't want to make a habit of that's all you do. There's never a plan, there's never a thought that goes into what you're trying to do. There should be some thought every now and again. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm very spontaneous. Well, my wife might say different. Like you spontaneous when it comes to certain things. So at times I put it like this, I'm more random than spontaneous. There are random moments that I'll get ideas and I'll move. I'll go. I don't have it all figured out, but I'll move. Even in that though, there's like some type of plan that I have on how I'm going to execute this thing. Once I get the idea, I start formulating a plan to figure out, all right, how can I fully get this thing done? How can I make whatever this vision I have in my mind come to fruition? And so I'm getting better and better at that, and even investing into myself right now as we speak to better myself in that area so that I can be more strategic about these ideas. Because remember, as creatives, we have the tendency to be all over the place. The more that ear grows, the more that these creative ideas come, you have the tendency to be literally all over the place if you're not careful. Uh, One of the things I wanted to share, to me, one of the biggest motivators of you finishing and actually being a little bit more strategic is when your why is bigger than what you're doing. When that why, that thing, the reason why you're doing something is a lot bigger. You said bass playing motivational speaker. That's a man of God winning. Man, thank you so much. I appreciate that. To God be the glory. But I think when your why is a little bigger, it pushes you. I I gained the most traction on bass. And I was always practicing once I really started taking this instrument serious. I was always practicing, always working to push myself. But when I got a job that demanded, you better get better or we gonna get somebody else in. They didn't say that, but the handwriting was on the wall. You know what it is. I mean, you get in those situations, you know exactly what it is. Even if you're not a professional musician, you have a job and they're paying you to execute a certain thing. Your motivation and your strategy gets a little bit more vivid when you know that there's something on the line. That means that why is very clear. So why am I doing this? Because if I don't, I'm going to get fired. Case in point. So when you go to your job, for you guys that work regular 9 to 5s or whatever the case may be, when you go to that job, they're paying you to do a specific thing. They're not paying you to come in and goof off. They're not paying you to come ride the clock. You have a set time for break time. They're being strategic about how you use your time so that you don't come in and waste their time and they pay you to waste their time. So what if you took that same approach as it relates to your own life, as it relates to your own goals? You know what? I'm going to be very, very strategic about what it is I'm trying to accomplish because I don't want to waste any of my own time. I don't want to waste any of my resources. I don't want to waste any of my creativity. If you started treating it like somebody is paying you and you're going to get fired if you don't execute this thing right, then your results will be very, very, very different. Trust and believe. When I pulled away from doing a regular job and I said, you know what, I'm going to pursue my own business, my own endeavors exclusively, my why went way up. So my need for success in what it is I was trying to accomplish, it came front and center because it's like, all right, what is your why, Jermaine? Well, I got to do good at this. I have to be successful at this because I have four people who are counting on me, and not counting myself. I got four other people who were counting on me to be successful. So there's not a lot of wiggle room for error here. So I have to figure out. I have to come up with strategies and different things to make sure that I'm executing every one of my goals. I have to really make sure I hone in on what it is I'm trying to do. Thank you, William. But I have to be very, very strategic because my why is bigger than what it is I'm trying to do. My why is my family. My why is, my kids looking to me and I'm modeling something that resembles success to them, in terms of parenthood, in terms of how I'm treating their mother, in terms of how I'm handling them as a father, in terms of how I'm handling this business, how I'm using my time. If they only see me on my phone all the time and that's all they see, it's like, Daddy don't look productive. He looks like he's very distracted. Now, don't get me wrong. They see me on my phone a good bit, but they also know that I get a lot done because I come over here to the studio and I am working. When they come over here, it's like I'm in here working on something. So they see, okay, Daddy's always doing something. Then from time to time, I'll play them my music or something that I worked on. So they hear it. They hear the results. Or in your case, they might see the results of the work that you've been putting in. Depending on what it is you do, there needs to be some results. So we need to be able to make measurable progress in a reasonable amount of time. So people ought to be able to see your results. Because if you are working for somebody and you're not producing any results, they're like, you're fired. Because I'm not going to pay you to be on the clock and not produce any results. So if you're not seeing the results in your playing, check what you're doing on the clock. Check how strategic you're being with your time. Check your why, that kind of thing. Now, there are things I'll say about my playing personally. I practice so much stuff and I forget a lot of it. It's like it's harder for me to retain all this information. So my monthly membership lessons are sometimes for me because I might go back and look at something that I taught. I'm like, man, I forgot all about that. It's like I go back and refresh myself on some of the information that I've shared because there's so much information as a musician. And when you've been playing a long time, it's like you forget as much stuff as you learn. I hate to say it that way. Some of the stuff you retain it and it's muscle memory, but if you're not putting all of it to use all the time, it's easy to forget it. Whereas like something like riding a bike, that's a pretty simple skill. It's pretty straightforward. You get on, you turn the pedals, you turn the handlebars, and you make sure you keep your balance so you don't fall. That's about three good things. So you're not going to forget that. It's pretty much like, it's like riding a bike. Well, music can be a little different. You can still hear everything, but being proficient, keeping up the dexterity and all that kind of stuff, you have to constantly work on it. I equate music to kind of like working out in terms of being a skilled musician to working out, going to the gym and that kind of thing. When you hadn't been to the gym because your body reflects that you ain't been to the gym. You know what I'm saying? Your endurance when you try to run. I work out, but I haven't been doing a lot of cardio because I've been going through some stuff with my leg. But I've been riding a bike lately, and so I went down to the mailbox. I rode my bike down to the mailbox, and coming back up that hill, it's like I'm winded. Like, wait a minute now, hold on. It's like, hold on now, something is going wrong. Like, So I'm noticing the more I do it, I'm not as winded. But it's the same thing when it comes to your playing. You might know how to do it really, really well, but if you haven't been working on that endurance, fool around and play a set or play a service or something like that, and they go longer than 10 minutes. Like, you gonna feel it. You gonna it's like you sweating, your hands are tired, you exhausted, you get home and you crash because it's like, man, you wouldn't think these hands would exert that much energy, but you do. So you have to be strategic about everything you're doing, whether it's building endurance, whether it's working on dexterity, all these different things. You have to be really, really strategic about it in order to see the results. And of course, your why is going to be the determining factor for all of these things. All right, I'm gonna take a pause for the cause and stop for for a second, read through some of these comments. Mark says, "This is for me." Thank you, man. Listen, I'm glad that you're here, and I'm glad that I could say something or share something with you that is helpful. Stephen, good morning to you, sir. And so again, guys, that I don't want to just what my saying is, beat a dead horse with saying the same thing over and over again. You guys, I think you got the point by now, but it's definitely something that you want to be very, very aware of. You want to be aware of what you're doing in terms of why you're doing what you're doing and getting the results. All those different things, you want to be very aware of them, right? So anyway, does anybody have any questions for me I before I jump off of here? Like I said, it was going to be really short. I wanted to get straight to the point. Any thoughts, be sure to drop them in the comment section. Make sure I spoke to everybody this morning, everybody that's here. I think I got everybody. But yeah, those are the thoughts that I wanted to share. You got to be very, very strategic. And if you haven't put together a strategy, I challenge you today to take out your phone. Because that's the thing, most of us spend the time on our phone. Everybody got a phone in their hand now. Like, you always got a phone. You always seeing somebody with the phone. It's so funny because I seen people like, this is the pose. Like, everybody, this is the pose. Like, you got somebody taking a picture of you on your phone, and that's the pose. Like, so it just shows you how important our phones are to us, that we're willing to pose, and that's our picture. We're taking a picture looking cool on our phone. We don't look that cool. We look distracted. I mean, it is it is what it is. We're on our phone, so we look cool. But use your phone and start building out a strategy for the next 3 months, for the next 6 months, for the next year. Have your goals listed out. What are some things you want to buy? There are things in my studio that I had listed out. There's some things coming. My bass that you guys have seen on social media, that was in my list. That was on my list of things to do. And it's been there for a while. You know, of course, it had to be refined over time of what exactly I wanted. But it was part of my list in terms of something that I wanted. And I took steps in order to get me there in terms of, all right, this is what I want to do. This is what I want. And, trial and error. And we made it happen. And the why, I had put myself in a situation where I didn't have a 6-string bass. So that why of me getting another 6-string bass went way up, because it's like, all right, I don't have one, so I got to get me another one. But it has to be something that I really, really, really want. So that why factor went way up. So that goal got accomplished in terms of me getting that thing done, because that why, it was of grave importance. That to me, that's something that's very important in my playing. I enjoy the Fender, I enjoy this bass, I enjoy the 4 strings and all that kind of stuff. But it's something about a 6, when I play a 6, that it does something else for me personally. It don't nobody else like it. That's all right. As a matter of fact, I blocked somebody this morning. This is the first time I'm proud to say something negative like that. But I blocked somebody this morning on Facebook for talking crazy about the I think they got on my post and cursed and everything. I was like, yep, you're going to get blocked. If you're watching this morning, you got blocked. It's just FYI. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't do the negative stuff at all. And so you're definitely not going to come at me cursing and doing all that kind of stuff. So I blocked somebody this morning because it was like, for the last time, a bass only has 4 strings. It was like, okay, I'm glad that you're passionate about what you believe. I appreciate the passion, but you can kind of take that, you can put that in your car. Like, you can put that passion somewhere else where it's needed. put it for a movement or a cause or something like that. Don't come at me with that passion, right? You know what I'm saying? Unless you're passionate about something that's moving somebody forward. But anyway, all jokes aside, I love the 6 string bass, and me giving myself a why I needed to get one helped me to execute and get that done. So now she should be here in a couple of days, right? So Andrew says, no, I'm sorry, I skipped one. Brandon said, what was your solo thought when you just played your song? Brandon, man, I don't know. A lot of times I'm just um, trying to hear what's there, going with the flow of what's there, if that makes any sense at all. I try not to overthink it, because if I overthink my solos, they feel more mechanical and they don't flow to me. It feels like I'm trying too hard. You get in that tendency where you feel like you're trying to prove something, because now you're trying to remember every lick or come up with every riff or whatever, and to me it doesn't feel as organic. I know there are some people that works for them because they're strategists by nature and they have to think everything out. Like, I'm gonna play this. I don't think like that when I play. Again, being a creative, me personally, that's not the way I learn music. I learn music based on just playing by ear and feel and all that kind of stuff. So I'm playing what I hear in the moment. It's like singing to me. I don't think about it. I just do it, if that makes any sense. So I know that didn't help anything, but let me say this to clear that up. My just doing is based on my vocabulary. Now, there are times that I do a lot of thinking when I'm in practice. I'm implementing things that I've learned and things that I know, and I put them into practice in those times that I'm strategically working on, like this little thing here, just a minor pentatonic, all that kind of stuff. Moving through the different minor or major pentatonic shapes and all that kind of stuff. If I'm practicing on that, I'm getting this stuff under my hands, so when I do take a solo, I don't have to think. That's the thing I want to be really clear about. It's like, not that I'm never thinking about anything, but there are things that I target or hone in on when I'm practicing. So when I start to do some improvisation or something, I just want to have the tools. I want to have the tools there and available. And even if I mess up on something, I still know how to get out of it because I have these tools available. But I'm trying my best when I'm playing not to think, to just be present, to be in the moment, and whatever I'm hearing, to be able to kind of go or gravitate towards whatever it is I'm hearing, and kind of take my thoughts out of it. Because when I play, it kind of complicates things for me. Now, if there's any thought that goes into it, it's me trying to match what I'm singing in my head or the melody. It's like I'm forever chasing a melody in my head. That's the best way I can explain it. I'm forever chasing a melody. There's something that I'm hearing, and I'm chasing that. To me, I play my better solos when I do that. Now, when I'm just going into autopilot and my hands are just moving, sometimes I make a lot of mistakes, in my opinion, because it's not centered on anything. I'm just playing stuff and just trying to find my way around. Sometimes that's good because you can come up with some good ideas. But when I'm chasing that melody in my head, I can come up with some really, really good sounding stuff, to me personally, when I'm chasing that melody. Long answer for a short question, but hopefully that made sense to you. Andrew says, thank you, Jermaine, for your words of encouragement and motivation. Being strategic and purposeful is very important. I agree, man. I agree. Andre says, I remember way back when we didn't have phones. It was beepers. Yes, sir. The good old pager era. There were no cell phones. You literally had to write everything. You had to write everything down. Brandon says, thank you again for your time and all you do. Man, it's my pleasure, Brandon. P bass or J bass, your preference, whatever you like. I guess that's Thomas, Tome's bass. I'm not going to butcher your name. I see you, but I don't know how to pronounce that. I don't want to say it wrong. So I think it's Tomes, but I know that's probably wrong. So anyway, P bass, J bass, it's whatever you like. It's whatever you like. I really don't get caught up in to the politics of bass, if you will. I play what I like. I play what speaks to me. I might want to play a jazz bass for 3 weeks, or I might want to play this bass, for 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years. Who knows? It depends on what I connect with at the moment. Now, to be more specific about your question, when I'm playing the role or wearing the hat of a studio musician, I play what's needed for the record. I'll be clear about that because I don't want you guys thinking, man, Jermaine he just play whatever. Like, nah, I will, but at the end of the day, as a producer, because I am a producer and songwriter, so I play a lot of serious music as well. And what I'm saying serious, meaning like there is a lot of thought that goes into it. There's not a whole bunch of improvisation that's necessary for this song. Like you are playing the song, meat and potatoes, and that's what we're paying you for. Or if I'm creating a song for an artist, they're paying for this song to sound a certain way. They're not paying for Jermaine Morgan, the soloist. So in that particular song, I'm going to play what best fits the song, depending on the needs of that song. So the song is first. Even when I'm playing as a solo player, I'm thinking about the needs of that song. Now, if that song allows me the ability to be more creative and more expressive, then now I have a lot more free range to choose an instrument based on my own likes. But yeah, I play what the song needs. To answer your question, I play what the song needs. So hopefully that cleared that up. Any more questions before I jump off? Because I'm about to jump off. I appreciate you guys for being here. We've been going long these last few broadcasts, and I got to shorten these things down. I just quit paying attention to the analytics because I know I'm getting killed in the analytics. Studies show that if you do these lives for this length of time, it kills your analytics. So I sacrifice my analytics in YouTube to make sure that I do these Grooves and Motivation live. When I found out that it was hurting my channel in terms of the analytics, I said, you know what? I'm not gonna. No problem, man. I said, you know what? I'm not gonna stop doing Grooves and Motivation. At least not right now, because I know that it's helpful to my audience. And so, if I suffer with views, it is what it is. But I do appreciate when you guys like and share the videos. It does help the channel. But nonetheless, if it's only a handful of you guys that I'm helping, and you're getting what you need from me doing these lives, then it's worth it. It's worth it for me, and I'll take the L on the losing with the analytics just for the sake of making sure, we can get, because I mean, it is, as a creator, as a content creator, just for you guys who don't know the other side of it, as a content creator, you have to be aware of those things in terms of putting out your videos. What's working, what's not working, watch time, duration, all of that kind of stuff. And YouTube looks at that and they recommend your videos based on the watch time, based on how people are engaging, based on the shares, all these different things. And there's so many other factors that go into these ever-changing algorithms. I don't even know anymore, but I know that this is purposeful, and this is the reason why I do Grooves and Motivation. I don't get on here to just, and that's why I say I don't do bass lessons in Grooves and Motivation, because not that I'm trying to be mean, but that's not what this is for. I know this right here is a little bit more purposeful and meaningful in terms of you as the complete listener, you as the complete musician, and I want to be able to help you in that regard. And I want to be able to provide something that I haven't really seen a lot of as it relates to musicians. I see a lot of do's and don'ts and all this kind of stuff, and you got to do this, you need to be playing pocket and four strings and all this nonsense. Well, I'm sorry. It's relevant to a certain degree, but I think we have really great musicians, a lot of really great musicians, and also a lot of really terrible people. A lot of really unfulfilled people who are great at what they do, but they suck at being social. They suck at being a family man. They suck at just keeping good relationships. They suck at keeping their word. They suck at integrity. They suck at accountability. And I want to do something to bridge that gap so that this does not continue to be a problem. So we don't continue to have a negative name as a musician. Your daughter hooks up with somebody, oh, he's a musician, oh, here we go. Like that shouldn't be the response when people find out that you're a musician or they think it's a joke. It's like, this thing is a trade that we work really, really hard on, and it needs to be held with the same integrity as a doctor, as a lawyer, that kind of thing. I know we're not technically saving lives or whatever in that regard, but there are things that music does provide in ways of healing, and there are a lot of positive things that we do. And I think when we focus back on the positive that we're giving out instead of trying to become superstars, we can be way more effective in what we're trying to do. That's enough of that rant. So yeah, that's why I do this. That's why I do this. Uh, Thomas says, thanks for sharing, man. Great videos, man. They are a good reason to be on my phone. There you go. You got a good excuse now. B.E. Wool says, thanks as always for the inspiration, sir. God bless. God bless you too, man. We appreciate you, Jermaine. We do. God bless. And God bless you and your family. And I forgot to read. Marcus Jones says, thank you, man. Thank you, Marcus. I appreciate you, man. Tiffany says, thank you for continually doing this. I used you for an example yesterday when talking to a client about starting a YouTube channel. This is definitely a successful venture. Thank you. I appreciate that, Tiffany. I have heard that prejudice about musicians. Yeah, unfortunately, there's a lot of that's a good word. There's a lot of prejudice when it comes to musicians, and people don't take us seriously. And that's the thing that really bothered me, is that people didn't take us seriously. And I think that's why I kind of went on I'm not going to say that's the complete why, but that's one of the reasons why I went in a slightly different trajectory in terms of my career, because I noticed the fact that people didn't take musicians seriously. And I wanted to get down to the why they don't take us seriously. And it's not all the external people's fault. A lot of it is our fault. I'm not saying we're to blame for everything, but a lot of it is our fault. And when you begin to own up to your own issues, your own problems, and you begin to see these things and correct them, now you can, I don't want to say the word demand because that sounds harsh, but it is what it is. You can demand a little bit more. You can require a little bit more because there's value that you've placed on something that you know what I'm going to bring to this situation, what I'm going to offer to this is way more valuable than anybody else you're going to bring in here to do what I'm going to do. And my integrity and my accountability comes with me. It's a package deal. And now you might get somebody to do this, or you might get somebody to teach this, you might get somebody to show you, but the integrity and the accountability doesn't come with it. Somebody might say, well, I just need the skill. I don't need all that kind of stuff. You don't need it now. But when your name is on the line, or when your brand is on the line, when something that's a little more personal to you, attached to you, is on the line, you'll look for that integrity and you'll pay for it. You'll pay for that accountability. I know this to be a fact. And I know good character carries you a long way, a lot further than skill. Skill will get you a lot of work, get you a lot of gigs, but after a while, it'll play out because your name goes out before you. Having a good name, your name, people hear about your reputation and all that kind of stuff. And you could be missing more work than you're getting called for because you have a terrible name. You have a terrible reputation. You have a reputation for not honoring your word. And a lot of us musicians are like that. It's like we're going to show up to this situation. We're not going to take it seriously. We might show up, and let's call a spade a spade. We might show up smelling like weed or whatever the case may be. Whatever your thing is, we might show up smelling like alcohol, smelling drunk, or, whatever the case may be, and it puts a negative stereotype on the rest of us who are not doing certain things. I don't care about what you do in your personal time, but you have to be careful about what you represent as a brand. Because if you're representing, I love, and I'm way over in terms, I suppose been gone. Now y'all got me talking again. I blame Tiffany. But I look at Chick-fil-A. I always use Chick-fil-A because I love the culture that they've created. Now, Chick-fil-A don't do anything to let me down now that I'm using this example. But Chick-fil-A has created a culture that everybody that works there represents the brand. If you're wearing that shirt and I come to that restaurant, you better have a good attitude. And it's something that you can tell management requires that your attitude be on point. You know what I'm saying? Your attitude has to be on point when you're working for Chick-fil-A. You're not going to come in there, welcome to Chick-fil-A, how may I help you? I've never been to a Chick-fil-A that was the attitude of somebody working there. It's like they're not allowed. It's like, hi, thanks for coming to Chick-fil-A. How may I serve you today? It's like a servant's mentality versus how may I help you? Like, you really don't want to help me and you really don't want to get my order right. I mean, I asked for this and you just don't want to give it to. I'm sorry, I'm ranting right now. I'm reflecting in my mind about times that I had bad service. But when you think of serving, you're thinking doing whatever is necessary to make sure that person feel as comfortable as possible. Now, if I take on this mentality as a musician, as I'm serving my audience, I'm serving my stage, my platform. I want to give them something that's going to be the most helpful to them, that's going to make them feel the most comfortable. Well, now my attitude changes. Everything about my demeanor changes because it adjusts to make sure that I'm giving the most of myself to these people and they feel empowered or they feel better when I leave than they did when I showed up. You see what I'm saying? That's the thing. It's nothing like walking into a restaurant and the greeter is nice when you get there. And I like to eat, obviously. Y'all can hear that. But the greeter is nice. The waitress or the waiter, whoever, they're nice to you. The manager comes out, make sure everything is okay. It's nothing like that when you experience that. But when you don't get that, you're less likely to go back to that place. So if that is to be true concerning food and that kind of thing, what do you think the experience people are having when they come in contact with you as a musician, as a creative, as whatever you do? You're doing it with a bad attitude. I went to this place. This is my last story, I promise. I went to this place. It was a wing spot. Me and the musician bros, we were in between a service or something like that. And they told me about this banging wing spot. Like it's like a hole in the wall, but the food was the bomb, the way that they talked about it. And I went up there hearing all these stories about the food. All right, let's go get some of these wings. We're hungry. I went there and the customer service was horrible. I mean, it was terrible. Side note, the wings was banging. The fries was sweet. Everything was on point. Everything was good. But because the customer service was so terrible, I literally asked the lady at the window who took my order, I said, "You good?" Y'all got to be around me when this stuff happens. I said, "You good?" I said, I think I just walked up now, so I'm just making sure that you good because you seem a little on edge and I just got here. So but from that point on, I never went back to that place again. Because for me, being a person of integrity, being a person of accountability, that's not going to ride with me. And for people who take on that mentality, those are the people who are, going to handle you a little bit different in terms of the way that they pay you. People of integrity handle you differently. But people who don't care and anything goes, you can't really count on those people. But it's like, that wasn't going to work for me because your food might be good, but you ruined it for me with your attitude, the way, because I don't need your food. That's the thing. There's 1,000 restaurants around here and I can go somewhere else. And if you're going to act with this attitude, I can do without your food. I equate that to being a really great musician, but your attitude stinks. I can call somebody else, especially as a session player. I can call anybody else. I'd rather deal with a horrible player that has a great attitude. I got to work a little harder, but I'm willing to do a little bit harder work just because of the fact that I like to protect my environment. I like to protect my environment. I hate a toxic environment. If you're going to come in with negative stuff, coming in talking about people, having just a really overall negative vibe that I feel like I got to repent when you leave because we just went on a whole, journey with talking about people, putting people down, all that kind of stuff, just literally poisoning your mind so much that you feel like, man, when this person leave, I got to detox. Like that's a lot of negative information. Nobody wants to be around that. So you might not have a negative attitude, but what's your content in terms of what you talk about? When you get around people, is it always negative? Are you always bringing up some bad news about something or somebody done this or they did, well, you heard about something. Nobody wants to hear that. So check all of that stuff because it makes people less likely to want to be around you. It makes people less likely to recommend you. And like your plan might be sweet. You coming to the gig, you knowing all the material, you doing all this stuff. It's like, why am I not getting called? You're bringing germs to the environment. Like you're toxic. The way you think, the way you operate is toxic. You're there on time, you're there early, but I don't want to deal with your attitude. Maybe you have a great attitude, but I don't like the content that you talk about. So all of these things we have to be mindful of. And I don't know how I went down this road, but we're here now. All these things, you have to be mindful of these things in terms of moving forward. Now, to bring it back home, be strategic even about that, because when you're strategic, it creates winning habits. Winning habits don't talk down about other people. We don't have time to focus on all the negativity that's going on with everybody else. So we don't have a lot of energy to pour into negative things. And that's creating a winning habit. Now, if you have a tendency to do that, then you need to check that and start dealing with it. I had a tendency to do that, and I didn't realize it. From my family, I'm not going to go into detail, but I had a tendency to just point out a lot of negative stuff. And my grandpa, they say he was notorious for that. And so once I figured out that that was a trait that I had to start working to reverse that, not reverse, completely diminish that, because I don't want that being a part of who I am. I don't want my kids to know me for complaining all the time. Know me for always talking about people, always putting somebody down, always having, not that I was doing that, but just always having something negative to say about something. I don't want that to be a personal trait of mine. So I have to be really strategic about my thoughts, what I allow into my ear gate, because I don't need anything to help that grow. I need to kill that. So anything that's coming in that's making that grow, I need to kill that, get away from that thing so that I can grow the fruit that I want to eat of, right? So I'm gonna read a few more of these comments, and then I'm getting out. I'm getting out this time. So Steven says, Jermaine, thanks for your inspiration. I always enjoy it, man. I appreciate that, man. Steve says, character is invisible until it is not. Ooh, listen, I'm gonna put that up on the screen. Character is invisible until it's not. That's really good. I like that. Know your sound. Or Steven says, would you ever consider starting a room on Clubhouse? I haven't. I'm not going to rule it out, but I haven't. I'm just completely oblivious to Clubhouse. I have done nothing on Clubhouse. I never went to anything on Clubhouse. So I don't know, Steven. Maybe that's something we need to talk about. You need to bring me up to speed on that. I know about it, but I haven't really done anything concerning Clubhouse. All right, so good job, Miss Allen. You got us more quality content. Yeah, y'all thank Tiffany for this other little rant that I went on. Man, I am the same way. Customer service is important to me. Y'all know I went on a customer service rant about 2-3 weeks ago, so that's very important to me. So if you work at a restaurant and I ever come there, just be nice. I mean, if you own a store or anything, just be nice. There's no reason to be mean. It's not. I didn't do it. I didn't tell you to come to work. Just be nice, right? It's gonna serve you well in the long run. Jermaine Betton. People don't care what you know until they know that you care. Thanks, Jermaine, for imparting the positive along with the base knowledge. Man, listen, I love that quote. I think I heard that by Les Brown. I think I heard him say that as well, Jermaine. But yeah, man, that's why I'm here. That's why I'm here. Because just let's face it, we have a lot of great teachers here in this space on YouTube that teach bass and give phenomenal lessons. A lot of really good people that you could follow. They give really great lessons here. So if you want to learn bass, you can learn that from anybody. But since you're here, you can learn it from me too. I'm not ruling myself out. But my thing is, I do care about the overall well-being of you as an individual, not just being a great musician, right? So anyway, guys, that's it for me. I thank you so much for rocking with me today and checking out this live. Listen, I'm gonna run this because I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys don't know about this, and I want you to know about it. So I normally talk about this some kind of way, but I'm gonna play this video just so you guys can see what I'm talking about. If you're interested in hold on here. I'm trying to find it. I brought it up now. I can't find it. Maybe I can't find it. Hey man, well I'm gonna play this anyway. But anyway, I'm done for the day, and I hope the right commercial plays when I play this thing. I hope it plays right. But anyway, I just wanted to let y'all know about that. So have a great rest of your day. Hopefully this has been helpful. This has been inspiring to you, and I will see y'all. I'm out. Peace. Hey, are you a working musician? Or maybe an aspiring musician that's hoping to one day become a working musician? Then chances are you didn't get into this thing because you were looking to become a millionaire overnight or something like that. Most likely you got into it for the love and the passion of the music. I know that was the reason for me. Listen, I'm Jermaine Morgan, musician, songwriter, producer, artist, teacher, speaker, and several other titles that fall under that same category of music. And I mention all those titles for a reason. I've been a musician for about 26 years. And of those 26 years, I've been a professional musician for about 15 years. And throughout that time, I've learned so much as it pertains to my own journey and my own success as a musician that's allowed me to take care of my family, and that's allowed me to grow even in my own endeavors as an entrepreneur, not just a musician, but an actual entrepreneur. And I actually wanted to share some of these things that I've done in my own journey that helped me to grow and to have my own success, not always worrying about the next gig or who's gonna call me next in order for me to provide income and me to be able to take care of my family, actually creating something for myself. So I actually wrote this book called 10 Ways to Success, The Working Musician. And in this book, I wanted to show you practical ways that I've used that have been tried and proven that actually work to help you create your own income. And it might be some things that you may be overlooking if you are a working musician, because I know many times we can get caught up in the next gig, the next call, the next session, the next this, the next that, to the point that we're not looking to create anything for our own selves. We're waiting on someone else to call us. But in this book, I just want to challenge you to be more resourceful through my own personal journey, through my own personal story, so you can possibly look at some things you might have been looking over the years that could have been costing you some major success in areas that you never even thought about. So I encourage you to pick this book up. You can find it on Amazon. Again, 10 Ways to Success, The Working Musician by Jermaine Morgan, myself. Or if you want a more personalized copy signed by me, you can find that on my website at jermainemorgan.net. Listen, I really appreciate you for taking out the time to check out this video, and I just wanted to leave you with one last word of encouragement. If you are a musician, you don't have to become famous to become a success. I'll see you soon.